Hey everyone, and this is going to be the first vlog that I do, and this one's going to be all about perseverance, dedication, determination, and me being stupid. All right, so let's go first to the last part and cover me being stupid. Now, as a computer science major and somebody who's been working with programming and coding for the last decade and been, messing with computers in general for about 20 years, excluding my childhood where it was just MS Paint and, like, pinball and shit. You would think I understand the concept and appreciate the need to back up your files, but for the longest time I was arrogant as hell in terms of thinking, oh, this can't happen to me, or I didn't really think it was necessary to back up your files. This little experience I had yesterday really proved me wrong. Whenever I don't mess with my computer for a certain span of time, usually like a minute or something, my computer will begin to go into sleep mode, which is, basically power saver mode. Anybody knows that. But it'll go into sleep mode, and then I'll come over here and hit a key on my keypad or a keyboard, or click the mouse or something. That's usually after both of my screens have also decided to sleep. I actually have to actually activate my computer by touching a keypad and then turn on both my screens. I don't use gaming monitors. Both of my monitors are HD TVs, and they work just fine for me. I don't do any hardcore competitive gaming, so this sort of thing is what I use. But some people are probably going to make fun of me, but if it works, it works. It's my logic. So that's the process of me having to turn my computer on whenever I don't mess with it, and I usually put it into sleep mode whenever I go to bed. When I'm pretty sure that's not a very good idea. I should just completely shut it down, which, okay, sure, I might start doing that. But I went out after the stream, about 2 hours after the stream, I went out to Subway with my nephew. We went and got some dinner. And I came back, and I tried booting my computer up, and it was stuck. The boot up was stuck on the HP. My computer's a Victus, it's an HP, so it was stuck on the HP image with the circling loading thing, and it was stuck on that, and it was starting to there's a buffer every 2 or 3 seconds, so it would stop and then keep going. It was doing this quite frequently, and I was getting aggravated because it was taking up to 15 minutes for anything to happen. And eventually it would restart, and then it would say diagnosing problems, and then attempting to auto repair, and I'm like, what the hell? So I do the whole rapidly tapping the particular key, and it brings up the boot menu, and I come to find out after messing with some things for a little while that the image, the Windows image, is corrupted or broken, and in my particular case it was gone. That's a common problem that actually happens a lot with Windows. I won't say it happens like a whole crap ton, but it is in terms of the problems that happen with PCs, with Windows and stuff, that is a common issue whenever there is a problem. This is something that is not reparable by traditional means, and it is very annoying to fix. It can be fixed, like that can be rectified. There's no arguing that. I'm not saying that this is a problem where you have to toss your PC out. No, this is a problem that can be rectified. It just takes a little bit of shenanigans and finagling. So one of the things I could do, and I tried it, was I go into system reset. Now there's 2 variations of system reset. That's typically the options you have. One is keep my files, which removes all the apps on your computer except the ones that came with it, but it keeps all your personal files. Pictures, videos, audio files, Word documents, what have you, and in my particular focus, Unity projects. That's not something I was really worried about. And the keep my files thing, I tried to do that and reset it to a previous thing, and it would cycle through, and it would start the thing, and then my computer would just restart. Now, normally it's supposed to restart several times. It's just part of the process. But in this case, it restarted and then went back to the diagnosing the PC problem. And that was that was an issue I had on my previous computer, my previous tower, and I have no idea why that is the way it is. As you can tell by the fact that I'm making this video, it's been fixed, but let me tell you how this crap went down and how stupid I am. So, one thing that as a result of this, I've learned is to back up my Unity project on a separate location. Currently, it's on a flash drive. I've got an SSD that I have to install. It's really rough on my back at the moment because I was in a car accident about a month ago, actually a month ago today. And so bending over, staying seated in any one position for any length of time really hurts. So it's something I'm going to have to do later. But I have the flash drive to keep this going. So with that being said, what exactly occurred is whenever I tried to boot up my computer, it would go up to this screen, or at least the menu before it. This is the advanced options of the Windows, the Windows startup, or boot up menu, as I like to call it. Before there, it is a series of options of like what to do next, diagnosing your PC, searching for image file, that kind of thing. Or searching for images actually on this one. But, I had the option to do any number of things that were there. And I thought, okay, this is going to be a simple thing. I would go to reset my PC, which is not something I think fondly of. And I went to the reset my PC, and it went to the keep files, like keep my files. It was like, okay, cool. And I actually had to Google a bit to make sure that that was a safe option for keeping my Unity project. This flash drive I've had for like 7 years. And it's got a bunch of old projects from my previous PC because I had an issue, but I think it was a corrupted memory file. Not memory file, it was corrupted memory, like broken. So that was an issue I was having, and I was able to, at a snail's pace, put all of my projects that I cared about on that flash drive. And they're still there. But the issue that occurred here is that whenever I went to go do the thing of keep my files, it wouldn't go any further than maybe one restart. Because whenever you do the system reset, it'll go restart several times. That usually also happens with a lot of specific updates that you might have, something resetting several times, maybe upgrading to a new version of Windows, like from Windows 10 to Windows 11, or even booting up a new PC and putting Windows 11 on there, or at least getting the updates, all that kind of crap. That is something that occurs. That's not the whole restarting several times is not by any stretch a new thing with Windows. It's been a part of it since I think 8. I'm not entirely sure. It wasn't before Windows 10 that I even cared about the iterations. But anyway, the issue I had is whenever I do the restart function, it would just go through the diagnosing the PC thing. It would just cycle through, and that was the most annoying shit in the world. I was freaking out because my next option was to do a complete system wipe and lose everything, including the project that I've been working on for, the current iteration of my project that I've been working on for the past year. Almost a year. It'll be a year next month that I've been working on it the way that it is. And then whenever I tried to do that, tried to do regular keep my files, it would constantly do the loop where it restarts, starts back up, diagnosing PC problems, checking repairs, and then whenever it would pull up this menu, this blue screen stuff here, not the blue screen of death, but blue boot up menu, which I've had blue screen of death twice on this computer, but that's because I overloaded the memory, which I need to get some more RAM to start with. That might help better with my streams. But this thing pulled up, and it would stay at the top. State at the top with none of these options. It would state at the top that it could not make repairs. So what was the problem? Well, I did a little digging, and after a little bit of trying to reset this thing, which I tried to reset and keep my files again, and it would say it couldn't do it. It wouldn't even let me click on it. It would just go to it for a flash of a split second, and then tell me that it couldn't do it, which was frustrating and annoying. So what ended up being the problem is that the Windows image, which isn't an actual, for those of you who don't know, Windows image isn't an actual picture that you save on your file. It's more or less a snapshot of all the programs and such that come with your computer from the start, documents, downloads, Windows functions that you don't really see at all. Just the basic shit that comes with your computer upon like factory resetting, as well as a couple other things, I think. But whenever that occurred and it showed me that the Windows image was corrupted and broken, first it was corrupted, then it was broken, and then this third time it was gone. And then by third time I mean third time of it cycling through, and that pissed me off. So the fix to this, because this happens quite a bit, the fix is not hard. What ended up really occurring here was that whenever I'd go to this boot up menu, I would spend like an hour trying to dig through a way to get to my files as best I can, to the point where I almost got a double-sided, like a double-ended USB cord that I could plug into my laptop and plug into the tower, get all the files out, then on a flash drive do the whole Windows 11 thing and get that all set up. So how was I going to save my project? Well, whenever you go through that Windows image recovery right there, it gives you two options, or at least two main options. In my case, it was only two. You could either search for an image on your computer, which it'll do, and in my case, it kept returning null. Not actually saying null, but that's just the term I use. Or you can manually go in and try to find it. And of course, whenever you're searching here, it'll have like a startup setup process, or I can't remember the name of it, which is the only file you can select. Whenever it was at this menu, like this whole stuff here, I couldn't access my file explorer. I couldn't get to my actual computer beyond this menu and access my project files and then transfer from one side to the other, which is what I did on my previous tower, my previous desktop, to get it onto this current one. So I had to pull a little bit of finagling, and I was losing hope. I was losing hope so quick. I was literally like almost ready to delete all my files with the fresh Windows boot up, which I'll explain that process, and just say fuck it and start all over from scratch, losing every bit of progress I've made over the past year. But this is where the whole determination and true grit comes from, that I think would benefit anyone who encounters any type of problem in their life where they feel hopeless. One of the things I do a lot before I make any decision regarding high priority, what's a word for it? I don't want to say targets. High priority concerns, is I will poke around, mess around, be incredibly observant, and notice every little thing. So one thing I noticed whenever I was doing the manual search and it pulled up a version of File Explorer is I first clicked on, because I wanted to see if I couldn't transfer the image from the USB drive and try to, because one of the things I had to do, which is the solution, is if your startup is screwed up. In my case, it was my desktop, which is a Victus, and what I could do was I could take a flash drive here, take it out of that, open up my laptop, which this is going to show to be the best investment of my life. Take this USB drive here and slap it in there, download a new version of Windows, or at least a repair version of Windows 11, and put it on the flash drive. And then slap it into here again, and then go through the process of selecting a startup software, or a startup download in this case, and do the whole system recovery, which would then wipe all of your files, basically a factory reset. And then it would do all the nonsense here and mess around. Well, whenever I took it from the laptop here and put it over here into the desktop, and I was searching through the images, because at that point I was like, if I can't fix this, if I can't figure this out, I'm just going to fuck it and, reset everything. Well, what I ended up noticing is that while it was only able to search for one type of file or program, in this particular case, I was still able to see the folders of all of my previous projects on this flash drive, which that actually is the exact same flash drive I've got. Like, both of these are accurate. Like, I actually have a Victus tower. That's exactly what it looks like. And I've got a Dell laptop that I use for school. And in this case, saving my ass. So what I ended up doing is I noticed that I could see them. I could see those files. And if I had access to a file explorer, I wanted to see if I could move them from one folder to the next. So what I ended up doing was I right-clicked on a random file inside the USB drive, and it did give, and I looked through the options, it gave me the option to copy. So I'm like, okay, there's some hope. So I then backed out, and I couldn't remember for the life of me where at in the actual computer the game file was located. So I spent the better part of 15 minutes clicking on everything I could, mainly, and I had to take a navigation to go and find basically the current, project iteration. I was able to find it, right-clicked on it, copied, and then went to the USB drive and clicked paste. And it took about an hour, but it copied the project from the files on my computer, which I couldn't even get to the startup page. I couldn't even get to my desktop image, and I pasted it onto this flash drive. So basically, I was able to access it through some shenanigans through the boot up process and trying to repair the computer, and slapped it on the hard drive and slapped it on this flash drive. After that was done, I took the flash drive out of the desktop, put it into the laptop, and I have Unity on this laptop. I do. On my laptop, it's now, as of right now, the newest version, but I only use it to mess around with 2D project ideas, which I had one 2D project idea for my introduction to game design class from earlier this semester, and I checked it up. It took me 30 minutes to update that current project to Unity 6, the version that the actual project is set in. So it took me about, like I said, it took me about 30 minutes. That computer's not meant for that laptop is not meant for high performance. I got it as a means to be able to do my schoolwork on the go. Either at work on my breaks, or if I wanted to get out of the house. All my classes this first semester are online, and I have a very bad habit of getting very stir-crazy whenever I'm stuck somewhere for any length of time. I'm used to going out and doing things all the time, working every day, going skating with my nephew on Wednesdays, and then going to D&D on Thursdays, and doing Warhammer tournaments like once every couple of months, painting Warhammer figures, that kind of thing. I am among other things, but I am also I am a very busy person. And being on leave right now because of my back from the car accident is driving me up a wall. Everybody think, oh, get a month off from work. No, I'm losing my mind here. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, after Unity updated on my laptop to the newest version, I knew that this was probably gonna clock my memory on this laptop. But I plugged in the USB drive, and then I loaded the project from the flash drive onto Unity to see if there was any errors or any corruption. Because in the past, one of my projects that I was working very hard on for several months, that actually this current project has a lot of elements from it. One day, just out of nowhere, it got corrupted, and can't anymore, but I could no longer access it at the time. It's completely gone now. I had to do the factory reset. It's completely gone. I can't access it anymore. Even if I still had my computer, I can't access it. It's gone for good. And I even did the thing where you transfer from one project to the next. Nothing. It's just gone. But anyway, after a minute. After a few minutes, I should say, it booted up on the laptop. So, there was couple of errors, but they were more warnings than actual like errors, like something's not working. So it was mainly, I think all of it was animation events within older animations that weren't being called, or bools or something that were declared in earlier scripts that were not being called. So they weren't really problems so much as it was just quality of life stuff I gotta fix. So anyway, I loaded it up here and it was good. So I took the USB out of the laptop and put it back in the desktop. And with it being in the desktop, on that flash drive was everything I needed to restart the computer. So I ended up doing that, and it took me quite a long time. And as a matter of fact, multiple times that it was reinstalling a new version of Windows, it would go back to the diagnosing the PC part, and I'd have to restart it and restart it. I did that about 3 times. And it managed to actually restart, like the computer's working perfectly fine. Everything on it is gone in terms of my previous files. And the annoying part is all of my network adapter drivers were also gone. Like, I couldn't connect on the internet to this thing. So I took the laptop, and then, you know, after Windows was all set up on the desktop, like as it is now without the network adapters, put it onto here. Went to the HP website, looked up my type of computer, and then was able to download all the drivers from the laptop onto the flash drive, put it back in the desktop, and put on all of my network adapters. Now everything's working perfectly fine. This computer basically got a complete and total facelift, and now everything's working. To the point where, you know, after all of this nonsense was said and done, the laptop and, you know, the desktop were set and fixed, and the boot menu was finally done and down. I took this screenshot last night. Everything is working just fine. Project is up there exactly as we left it whenever the stream ended. Everything on there is perfectly fine. It works, you know, wonderfully. You'll see that on the sidebar, I've got, you know, a couple iterations of Unity, Streamlabs, RuneScape, you know, just basically my essentials. So what does this mean in how does this apply to the topic of the video? Well, let me go ahead and remove the desktop part. Well, firstly, it is that no matter how bleak things look, there is always a way to fix it. There's always a way to get what you need, get what you want, to do what you need to do. I could have easily just been like, oh god, there's no way to fix this, and, you know, did the whole onto the flash drive thing, the version of Windows 11, and then restart everything, and then do what I've done before out of despair and reboot everything. Or I could continue to poke around, desperately try to find a solution, even looked online. This whole, like, finding things in the File Explorer on the boot up menu was not something I found online. It was completely something I had to do, poke around and stuff. I even had to use the command function to try to find things as much as I could. I had to use the command function to bypass certain booting startup functions just to get to that point. So now, what have I learned from this process? Well, what I have learned is to back up your most important shit. So I've got a spare SSD that one of my friends gave to me a long time ago. I just never installed it. So I'm going to start using that as an external hard drive and storing my projects onto that and onto the flash drive and onto the PC. I will be damned if I'm going to go through all that crap again and risk losing everything I've done. So the theme of this little vlog, of this little chat of mine, never give up. You've worked too hard on what you've got going to just give in because of an inconvenience, because of a problem that seems insurmountable. Even with coding and programming, just because it seems like you can't get something to work doesn't mean there's not a way you can't mess with it. And going online, there was no official way to fix this, to keep my files and everything and fix this problem. So what I ended up having to do was come up with my own way. And because there's, even if there's no official solution, use what you know how to do to fix your problems, to keep going and progress. Also, back up your shit to no end. So yeah, everything in the project now works, perfectly fine. Newest version of Unity, computers wiped down. That means that I've lost a couple of older videos from my skate videos from my Facebook group I'm a part of. I've lost certain images and such that I was intending to put into the project, but it's not something I can't do again. I've lost a lot of stuff, a lot of audio files, visuals, and stuff from previous projects that I've done over the past, God, how long has it been? 2 years almost with this PC. But the main important thing was keeping the project up there, keeping that thing, on the computer and workable. So that's the fun stuff that I was going through for about 7 hours last night. And also I was able to finish all my Introduction to Computers assignments, which there were 6. There were 3 modules I had to go through. Well, 7 if you count the discussion topic, that I had to go through, and I managed to do it. So what's the lesson here? 1, never give up. Never give in to despair. Keep going. There is a light somewhere in there. Just because things are dark doesn't mean that you can't find a light somewhere in that darkness. It might not be much, but it gives you some hope. And, my light was I can poke around and find an answer. There's got to be a way I can do this, even if I had to do the 2-way USB port thing. And number 2, back up your damn files. Back up your important shit. Now, if it's not something you really care for, you're not going to need it in a week or 2, don't worry about it. I mean, yeah, it's not a big deal. Also, OneDrive is your friend, and cloud storage is also useful. Might not be the most secure thing in the world, but it is useful. I'm going to start also using Unity Cloud, which is a function that I found out about yesterday. Back up your files, never give up, and always keep pushing forward. That's about it. You guys have a good night.